It's time to get started making a jig for making cutting finger holds on the router table for cutting boards quite a bit easier. We do sell the plans for this on our website, so definitely check that out there. I started out by applying some Oramask to a piece of Baltic birch plywood. Then I picked up the 45624-K 60-degree spectra-coated V-bit with the Stepcraft M1000 CNC machine. We're going to use this to go through and make the ruler for this jig, and it's just going to go through that Oramask, making a really nice clean cut, and then we're going to be painting over the numbers to make the ruler a bit easier to see. Surprisingly, designing out this ruler is not particularly easy. It was definitely way more difficult to do than I ever thought it would be, but we did get that done. So I'm going to get that pulled off and painted using some General Finishes Lamp Black Milk Paint, and then we'll use the Auto Tool Changer to pick up the 46176-K 1/8" compression bit. So I used a compression bit here for the entire design, but it's not meant for everything. This is a really shallow pocket that I'm doing here, and you can see that it tears out the Oramask quite a bit. That's because the upcut portion is the only portion touching the material. So I could have used a downcut bit here, but I wanted to show that a compression bit isn't necessarily great for everything. It's really great for through cuts, but you need to make sure that your first pass is below that upcut portion of the bit. So I used the compression bit basically to save time so that we weren't using another bit, and for this it worked out perfectly as there's going to be very minimal sanding, but you can see when we're going through here doing full depth cuts, it leaves a nice clean top and bottom surface that requires absolutely no sanding. So the amount of sanding, maybe 15-20 seconds of sanding I had to do on those star knobs, wasn't worth the time to change out the bit. So we went through and cut all of the rest of the parts here. The star knobs for this were actually too small. I designed them out quite a bit too small, so I ended up cutting out some larger ones, and you'll see that here in just a second as we're cutting through the tabs. But in the final design that we have on our website, we do have the correct size star knobs on there with the design readjusted for those. So these worked out much better as they're quite a bit larger.